Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I have an update for my all eyeshadows on deck, which is why you see a pile of eyeshadows here right now. And what I'm trying to do is use all of the eyeshadows in my collection 10 times each. So I know it's going to take a while. I don't know how long it will be, but I am gradually working my way through, and this past month was really good. So if you want to see how it's been, then please keep watching. So I have my little notebook over here, and I've got my color coding. So I did use all of my palettes this past month, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and work through the numbers right now. So I used all the palettes. I used 154 eyeshadows. 30 of them got finished this time, so I'm up to 62 eyeshadows that are completely done in this project. I used, let's see, 30 eyeshadow singles, because I like to kind of talk about that. And I hit 5 new eyeshadow pans. So let's go ahead and look at each one. So the C'est La Vie palette, I only used this eyeshadow one time. Hello. So that was it for this palette. And so it has now been used 8 times. Then for Citrus Punch, I used this eyeshadow. It's now up to 3 uses. This one's up to 4. This one is now up to 6. This one I just used one time, so it's up to 2. Then this one I used one time, so it's up to 2. This one's up to 3. This one is up to 4, and I actually hit pan on the eyeshadows. You can see easily there. It's my first pan in one of the Simply Posh palettes that I have. This eyeshadow I used one time. Down here I used this one 2 times, so it's now at 5 uses. This one is at 4 uses. I used it twice, and this one is excuse me, also at 4 uses, but I only used it once. For the Dollhouse, this eyeshadow is now at 4 uses. I used it once. This one is at 6 uses, and I actually hit pan on that 6th use. You can see the little tiny speck in there maybe. And then next to it, this one has been done. This one I used 2 more times, so it's at 3 uses. This one I used 4 more times, so it is done. This one I used twice, so it is at 5. This one is at 4 uses. I used it twice. This one is almost done. I used it 4 more times. It's at 9 total uses. This one I used twice, so it's at 4. This one I'm almost done. It is at 9 uses. I used it 3 more times. This one I used it 2 more times. It's at 5. This one I used 3 more times. It's at 6. This one I used 5 more times, and so it's at 8, so it's also almost done. This one is now at 5 uses. I used it once. This one I used it twice. It's at 5. This, sorry if you can tell, that was the purple. This one here, I used it 3 more times. It's at 5. This one I used 1 time. It's at 2. And I do want to take note that I have yet to use this kind of medium brown shade, so I need to do that. That hasn't been used at all. All right, Fairy Tale Fairies. So this shadow is now at 7 uses. I used it twice. This one I used once. It's at 6. This one I used once. It's at 3. I used this one 3 times. It's at 4. This one I used it once. It's at 2. This one was once, and now it's 3. This one was once. It's 5. This one I used it twice. It's at 6. This one I used once. It's at 5. This one I used once. It's now at 3. This one I used once. It's at 2. This one I used 1 time. It's now at 7. This one I used 3 times, so it's at 4. And that's it for this palette. Now there are some spoilers here because this gets always kind of recorded around the same time, and so I am actually going to be working on this palette for Deck of Panning to finish it off as a goal. So you're gonna find out that. So some of these are further done than when I first filmed the Deck of Panning, but you know, it's just kind of how it goes. So in here, this one I used twice. It's at 7. This one was used once. It's at 6. These are done. This one, I used it twice. It's at 8. This is done. This one is now done. I used it 2 more times. This has been done. This one I used it 3 more times, so it's done. This one I used 2 more times. It only needs 1 more use. This one is done. This one I used 3 more times, so now it's at 8. This one I used 2 more times. It's at 7. This one I finished it off with 2 more uses. This one I used it twice, and it's at 8 uses. This one I used once. It is at 7 uses. Then we have my Rogue palette, which I'm trying to think. This might be a spoiler for that as well because it's in my level up, and so I'm pretty sure level up is going up after this. And in fact, when I filmed the level up, I was further behind on this. So I am going to just go ahead and tell you that all of them are now done in here. I did hit pan on this eyeshadow, so you can maybe see that in there. But yeah, so they have all now been used 10 times. If you care, for this past month, this one was used 4 times, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and 5. And otherwise everything else was done. The next palette is just kind of, they look like singles, but they were sold as a palette, so that's why I talk about them. It's these Shine by SD shades. It was a treasure chest palette. So this eyeshadow is now done. I used it 5 times. This one is now done. I used it 2 more times. This one is also done. I used it 2 times. This was done. This one I used 1 more time to finish it, and I hit pan, a very big pan actually for, just that one use hitting it. It's not like I used it again. Or maybe I have, but it wouldn't have been marked down because I stop at the 10 uses. And this one I used 5 more times to finish this one as well. Okay, my Matriarch palette, and I'm sorry, I guess you can't see all of maybe I'll do this so you can see. So that was my Shine by SD, so you can see how much is done. This palette has been decluttered or retired, as I like to say, so that's why that's not getting any more there. Stoned Vibes, I don't have one here because that's my Pan That palette, so that's just kind of its own thing. I don't count those uses or anything. All right, this one wasn't used as much as the others, so this one I used once, so it's at 1 use. And then I have this black eyeshadow. I used it 2 times, so it is done. Oh, I forgot. Let's see. This one I used it once, so it's now at 4 uses. This shadow I used once. This shade here, I used it 3 times, so it's at 5. This blue I used 2 times, so it's at 3. And this teal over here I used 1 time. And then down here, this shade was used 3 more times, so it is at 4 uses. This one I finished off with 3 more uses. This is also a little bit of a spoiler because this is in deck of panning, but I finished the 10 uses on this shade to expand the pan. And this blue here I used 1 time, so it's at 2 uses. So for Sickly Sweet, I used this shade 3 more times. It's now at 7 uses. This shade I used 2 more times, so it's at 4 uses. This shade I used twice, so it is at 3. This one I used once, it's at 3. This purple I used 1 more time, so it's at 5. This brown I used 3 more times, so it's at 5. This shade I used 3 more times, it's at 5. Oh, yes, you can see that. And then this minty shade, no, not the minty, sorry, the orange shade I used 1 time, so it's now at 4. This purple I used once, so it's at 4. And then there's an orange over here that I used 1 time, so it's at 3. This orange shade, I used it 9 more times, so it is done. And that is it for this palette. Okay, for Vivid Pigments, they're kind of scattered a bit. So let me kind of pull this around, and I have this one as well. So this eyeshadow I used 1 time, so it's at 3. You might notice there's another one on there, but that was because I was counting that into something else. So I'm only counting it the 1 time this month. That'll just be for the next month. And then, not this one. This purple eyeshadow I used 3 times this month, so it is at it's at 8 uses. Then we have This purple here, I used it one time this past month, so it's at 3 uses. There was an orange that I decluttered. I used it 5 times and it just wasn't working well anymore, so I'm counting that as just done. And then we have, what is the blue for? I just like got a eyeshadow in here. Awesome. Then this orange eyeshadow, I have used it 10 times. So it's done in this, but it is not done being used. And so maybe that's a spoiler. I don't know. And that is it for this palette. Now we're going to move into, well, I do have other palettes, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about singles. So some of these are kind of still scattered around as well. So this white, I've used it 7 times this month, so it is at 8 uses. And then this eyeshadow, I used it 2 times this month, so it's at 5 uses. This eyeshadow here, I used it 2 times, so it is at 8 uses. Now I have to try to remember where some of these are. So is this number 10? Yes, make sure I was right. This one was used 1 time. And then we have, this one is shade number 12. I used this one 8 times this month, and that's all it has so far. But I just remembered, I have been using these as a blush and a bronzer. So this one is, let's see, shade 19. And so that one was used, now I finished up 4 times this month, so it's at 10 uses. And this one I believe was shade, yep, this is 11. So this has been my bronzer. And I used this 8 times this month. Okay, then we have I did 12. 14 is this shade right here. I used it 3 times. And then 19, let's see. Oh, I just talked about 19. And then we have 21. Let me see, 9, 18. Oh, this one here, I used it 1 time to finish it off. And then this brown, I used 10 times this month. And then, wait, not this one. Hold on. 9, 18, 27. It's the one that goes there. Oh, this one. Yes. This shade I used 4 times this month. This black eyeshadow I've now finished off. I used it 8 times this month. And then this black eyeshadow, I used it twice this month to finish it off. And then 50. Oh, this eyeshadow here, I used it 1 more time this month to finish off the 10 uses. Right, for the remaining singles, they're definitely going to be all around as well. Flannel, I used 1 time, and that's all it's at so far. Glazed is this one right here. No, it's not. Or is it? Hold on. I always forget. I think this is glazed. Yes, this one is glazed, or lazed as it says on my label. So I used it 1 time. And so now it is at 4 uses. We have Glisten is at 9 uses. That's going to be in here. And that is this one, I believe. Yes. So this one I used 3 times this month. So now it's at 9. Halley's Comet right here. I used it 1 time. So it is now at 6 uses. Then we have Hottie right here. And that was used 1 time this month, so now it's at 3. Then we have, all right, so this is Lightyear. I used it 3 times, so now it is at 7. Light Fast I used 1 time, so now it is at 7. Lyra I used 1 time, so it is at 3. Opal I used 1 time, so it is at 3. I'm sorry if you couldn't see all that. That was Opal. I'm gonna hope you saw those. All right, Peachy Keen I used 1 time, so now it is at 5 uses. Plum I used 1 time. Rosebud is in here, right here. I used Rosebud 2 times this month, so now it is at 4. The Cosmos I used 1 time. Times Square I used 2 times. Now we're back to talking about, actually no, I'm going to talk about 2 singles and then we'll do the other palettes. So I finished off the Lunar Lavender shade with 1 use, and I also finished off my Nebula Whisper Lunar with 3 more uses. I just realized I missed a palette down here. Yeah, just this one, because they're kind of singles, it's kind of a palette, so the dots singles. So I used each of these shades 1 time each, and this one I hit pan in. All right, now we can talk about my Nomad palette. So they are actually on my bad list right now, unfortunately, but I do have this palette from them, and it is a nice palette. All right, so this eyeshadow, I used it 2 times. It's now at 5. This one I used once, it's at 5, once at 5, once at 5, 2 times at 5. This one I used 1 time, so it's at 5. This one I used 2 times, so now it's at 7. This one I used 2 times, so it's at 5. This one I used 3 times, at 5. This one I used 2 times, so it's at 5. And that is it for this palette this month. And then for Crystallize, so my newest palette. Again, there's some spoilers here because deck of panning, this was a goal. So sorry. I use this one, is now at 7 uses. This one is now at 6. This is at 5. This is at 4. This is at 6. This is at 5, 7, 5, 4, 5. This one is 5, 4, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so those are all of my palettes and the uses of everything. So you kind of get a little idea. I was definitely trying to use different singles and pull things in. Like I was looking for ones that, it's like, why haven't I used this one yet? Or I was looking like I hit 10 uses on a black, so let me find another black to use, and do that. And, oh, I need a brown. And I was trying to kind of, rotate through a bit like that. And there are some shadows that I am kind of thinking about decluttering, but not at this point. I want to finish off their uses and kind of see then. And I could also wait to the end of this project even at that point. So we'll see. But it is still really fun being able to kind of mark off that it's like, every eyeshadow I'm using is a success. And it's also kind of nice to see like what have I been ignoring? Because, like the Cosmos, I actually just brought it into this palette. Like this is just me kind of like picking shadows that haven't been used for a bit and, finishing off uses or just doing some more. And so this is when I would have thought I was using it all the time and I'm like overusing it. I'm like, wait, I've only used it 1 time. That was partly because I saw I hadn't used it at all. So let me go ahead and let myself use it more, So that's why I kind of like this as well, that I'm seeing, it's not like, oh, I don't want those. Sometimes I don't let myself use favorites. And so this shows me when I'm not using my favorites. So I know that like, go ahead, go do it. But I want to thank you so much for watching. And until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye.